Aha! Avast, we are live, I think. I'm not seeing any video on the other end. Turning down the video setting. Why is that? Oh no. We've come back. Oh god. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down the video setting. Settings. Can I not access setting? Oh no, there we go. Video. Ah, well, I can't really do anything about that. Right, anyway, I'm gonna go quickly check YouTube. Just to check what's going on, because today it's all over the place. I can never seem to get a stream to start off smoothly. There we go, we are live. It's all over the place. I can never seem to get a stream. Okay, perfect, it's coming through. So now we just got to share this around, get some viewers in, and organise the camera. Let's get this out of the way. Don't need that. There we go. Push this back just a little bit so you can see. There we go. Wonderful. So yes, welcome everybody that may be in the audience already. Who knows? I'm probably just talking to myself. Yeah, welcome to another episode of Let's Fix It Live. The last one was an absolute disgrace, and this one might also end dreadfully. So yeah, there's me just restraining myself. Don't worry about it. So I'm just gonna. Maybe just gonna start pasting it around. Maybe someone will join us later. I'm just gonna post it in all the places where I think people will be interested. And one last place perhaps in here. There we go. So that's now streaming. The only problem is please check the video resolution. Well, I can't do that. Resolution is what? Warning. Resolution, which is not optimal. Well, I don't really care what the resolution is. As long as people can see what I'm doing. Let's get this bloody Dell laptop out of the way. That's not what we're focusing on. This ain't PC talk here. Besides, our computer's going to be torn down in an hour or so. Right. Oh, here we go. Right, here she is, the beautiful big beast that's known as the Macintosh Classic 2. Lovely. And yeah, this is a computer that I was given, I'd say last year, I think, mid 2021, I think. Yeah, this used to belong to someone, and I think she said if I could get her data off of it, I can have it. And I did that. I ended up copying it all to a floppy, and then putting that into a Windows machine, copying that all off the Windows machine onto a newer Windows machine, and then uploading all that to Google Drive. That was fun. And yeah, I've got good news. This computer does actually function perfectly fine. I'm not going to turn it on because I don't want to risk working around a charged tube when I'm taking the board out. But yeah, this thing does work fine. The only thing that doesn't work is the audio. The audio is a bit quiet, but it does work. If you plug headphones in and crank the volume all the way up to the max, you can hear sound. So the sound does work on here. The battery has been removed, so there's no acid damage. Acid damage is very, 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 very common on these machines if you leave them unattended. Yeah, this machine, I'd say, is now coming up to being almost 30 years old now. So the capacitors are... Ah, yes, Macintosh, yes. They are quite hard to find. I mean, in Britain, these things are almost... These are rare as hen's teeth. You can't get these things anymore. without at least forking out an arm and a leg for these things. But what we're going to do is we're going to hopefully remove all the capacitors that are leaking and replace them with these new lovely tantalums. Here's some of them. These are 10 microfarad, 16 volt tantalums to replace the electrolytic caps. Now, before we start, first I'm going to take the motherboard out of the shell because I don't want to risk working around the shell. Because CRTs, we all know they're fragile and they're very dangerous when they go wrong. So I'm going to get this little dust mat out and we're going to just plop this onto it like so, keeping that away from the vice on the bench. And this vice is in a really inconvenient location. I'd rather have it over here, but there's drawers here, so I didn't build this shed, so I can't complain. So we're going to take a T5, this is a T5 Torx screwdriver, and we're going to remove these screws in good time, because these screws are a bit of a B word to remove. Oh, hey, there we go, one screw out. We're making progress, people. Hardware stuff like board switching and installing new screens and things, I can do that, no worries. No, that I can do with my eyes closed. Soldering is something that is quite, it's embarrassing when it goes wrong and I'm filming it, but however, when I'm live and something goes wrong, I can potentially just have a laugh with the viewers. So, yeah. Having a laugh with the viewers is what I would prioritise, but at the end of the day, fixing this is a thing. I've already taken the 2 screws out of the handle, so I did that ages ago. So that's no worry. Alright, be careful. This is a public service announcement. Be very, very careful around this thing. That's a CRT right there. That's a cathode ray tube. You don't want to touch that. Whether it be plugged in or discharged, I do not trust the bleed resistor in this thing at all. Another thing that these do eventually need to be recapped with is the analog board, but mine, I'd say mine's fine. CRT's bright, the deflection's all good, nothing's shorted on it just yet, so we're going to be very careful. Going to unplug the floppy drive ribbon cable, which I think is passively powered. I don't see any direct power cables going into it. Okay, and then here's the hard drive board. Oh god. I hate working so close to the neck board of the CRT, because if I shatter that, it's game over. So you can probably imagine my stress levels at the moment. Especially since I'm doing this in front of people. I don't know, something about streaming just makes me feel uneasy, but when I'm working with software and I bugger something up, we can have a laugh and we can do it again. But when I'm working with hardware that is coming up to almost 30 years old now, that came out pretty easily. Yeah, so that was the, how many pins is this anyway? 4, 8, yeah, 4, 8... 12, 13, 14. So this is a 14-pin connector that supplies the power and the video signal to and from the board. So let's slide this bad boy out of here. Oh yeah, look at that, liking that a lot. Look at this tiny little board. Ah, Life of an Englishman, glad for you to drop in. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. This is where things could either go really well or really bad. Things could just die. Yeah, like I'm tripping over my chair already. The more viewers, the more stress, but we're okay. So I'm just going to put the cover back on, just to protect the CRT. And that was just dirt, that was not a crack. That did scare the living bejesus out of me, but we're okay. Right. Oh, okay. Let's just stick these screws back in. I only have the 2 bottom screws. The 2 of the top screws, I have no idea where they are. They're at home somewhere. But like I said, as soon as we fix this, we can shove a battery in here, which I don't have at the moment, and basically close it up until something else goes wrong. But this should be satisfactory enough to keep it going. I mean, the thing works at the moment. Like, it'll boot up and it'll run perfectly fine. But with these Macs, the caps will just inevitably leak again, and then it'll just cause the whole same problem again, and the traces will corrode away if you're not careful, and that is a recipe for disaster that we don't want. So, plunk myself down. So here it is. Here's a little motherboard. Here we've got a Motorola 68030 processor up in the corner here. Ah, Charlie, welcome. You're just in time to watch me either make a fool of myself, or this will go brilliantly well. Yeah, so that's our 68030 microprocessor up here. There's the egret chip, which controls the power on and all the booting. We've got these VLSI chips, which I still don't know what the bloody hell they do. They just exist. And then there's our AMD processor, which at first I thought was a bloody graphics card. I'm like, oh yeah, this has got a Radeon something in it. Nah. I'm pretty sure, since most of the traces coming off of this chip are going to the SCSI port, this is probably a AMD SCSI controller. Not too sure. There's a Texas Instruments audio IC up here. Here are the two ROMs down at the bottom. It says 512, 128K, 256K, and 512 and 1 megabytes. So I guess those are both populated, but there are no jumpers over here. So before we start, there is one big public service announcement if anyone is going to work on a Mac. It's the ROM ICs. Now, if you put them in the wrong way, you will blow them up, and you're dead. No, you can't come back from them. You will fry the ROM chips, and you'll be very sad. So what I'm going to do is going to take a photograph of the position they're in, and got to remember that they're one pin across. For some reason, they made the slots far bigger than they needed to be. Ah, Maurice, you're just in time to either watch me make a fool of myself, or, again, this will be a success. So, once again, don't follow anything I'm doing in this video, because this is basically trying to fix, but I couldn't use the name because my mate Vince, you know. Yeah, so if this could either go really well or really bad. If you're looking for a good tutorial, watch Bruce from Brankus Creations, or something similar to that, but don't follow my guide. This is just an idiot trying to fix something that's way older than himself. I mean, I was born in 2003, I should be working on 2003 hardware, not 30-year-old Macs. I think I'm going to take the RAM out first. Oh god, you can see my fingers are starting to get a bit jittery. But this is the easy stuff. We haven't even started on the hard stuff yet. So here's some Samsung RAM. So Samsung was making RAM long before DDR2 or whatnot. Those are the only sticks of RAM I think I can ever remember me owning. Aside from these two, of course. I think they're a SIP package. No, not SIP, but SIM package. Not SIP. SIP have got pins. Yeah. Oh god. You can see I'm being very careful with this flathead screwdriver. I do have an IC, a chip pillar, but me being me, I left it at home, so yeah. So we've lifted one end of the chip up, and we've lifted another end. I'm going to take another photograph just to identify what chip goes where. So we've got a Hitachi chip at the top and a Samsung chip at the bottom, or vice versa, depending on which way around you're looking at it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to lift this little leg up. Oh, okay, cool. I think we survived that. There we go. There's our little Samsung ROM chip. Now we need to find somewhere secure and safe to put this, because in a workshop you don't really have that much secureness. I think I would just stick it at the back here behind my toolkit. That way, if anything blows up, the toolkit will take the brunt of the fall. So I need a new toolkit anyways. The lid's almost snapped off of this yellow thing. I got this ages ago, and then the dog broke the lid off of it. I glued the lid back on, but then I lost the spring to it, so opening and closing it is a nightmare. Alright, it's time to start on Mr. Hitachi. It's funny how one of these ROMs is Japanese, and yet the other one's Korean. And Apple is American. So we've got a wide range of countries inside this device. How convenient. I really feel like I'm just scuffing up that IC socket instead of removing it. I think I should probably change tools. Pair of tweezers instead, maybe. No? Maybe just fingers. No, I didn't trust myself. Back to the flathead screwdriver. Sorry if you can't see any of this, but I'm kind of... Actually, I think my needs are greater than the viewers. But what you can't see is basically I'm removing, or trying to remove, an IC chip with mass, not hysteria, mass anxiety, because holy crap. I have never really fixed a vintage Mac before. A broken one. Well, it wasn't my fault. Someone else broke one. But I'm dealt with the consequences. That poor PowerBook 140 I had. Oh, sugar. Oh, we bent a pin on the ice. Oh, damn it. Right. Time to fix that pin then. Oh. Just gently. Yeah, it's a bit bent, but it's not foobarred. Bend that one back as well, just a tad. Yeah, so this is why I say do not follow anything I do in this video, because you do not want to fuck your chips. Because these are really difficult to find. I really doubt you can find the same model ICs, and then you have to program them. So it's basically similar to a system's BIOS. If you brick the BIOS, you might need a replacement chip, because sometimes you can fry the chips. Similar to bricking switches, I think. I think that might happen with, what was it, U92? The chip that fails on a switch. Not sure. Anyway, let's sit down. Now, the one thing is I do not know, and this is what I'm going to have to ask the audience here, is do you know which temperature I should have my soldering iron set to? Soldering iron / hot air station. I've got some flux here. Take the caps off of the flux. It's all ready to go. So here's my flux. I just use the back of the tweezers to push them out when needed. I've got my solder sucker, but we won't be needing that because we're not dealing with through hole. Oh, why didn't Apple just use through hole components? But yeah, I've got some brand spanking new soldering tips on my soldering iron, so no more than 360 degrees. Ah yes, wonderful. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. So 360 degrees is the max. I guess we want to go somewhere in between on both. So I'm going to turn the soldering iron on first before we get with the hot air, because I think the good idea to do, anything more will just ruin your... Yeah, that's what buggered all my older tips up here. The tip graveyard. I mean, look at this thing. Absolutely shagged. It's just ruined. So that's at 100 degrees at the moment, and I didn't put water on my sponge before I started streaming. So I'm going to lose viewers if I walk away right now. So, is there anything with liquid in here I could use? Another thing I forgot is the bloody isopropyl alcohol. I can't believe it. I woke up this morning, had everything packed, and I'm like, right, let's get out the door. And then, oh no, I forgot my isopropyl alcohol. Oh, 300. Okay. Crank this up to 300. Now, this is a Chinesium soldering station, so it may not be doing the temperature it's reported to be doing. Just a fair warning to you people out there in YouTube land. 260, 270. God, I can't read this display, it's so glary.
Oh, no, that's 300 and... There we go, 300 degrees on the dot.
Wonderful. And it's gone down to 900. Oh no, it does that. Once you've set the temperature, it then goes back to what temperature the iron is currently at, and then the counter slowly counts up as it gets hotter. I don't like that.
We all have Chinese state.
I thought you had an atom. I thought you had like an atom station, or am I thinking of someone else? Probably someone else. I think it's Steve. I think Steve has an atom station, or Bruce. One of the two. They've got pretty nice station. I don't know what type of solder this is. This is either lead free or leaded. It's probably I hope to God it's leaded. Because if it isn't, then we're gonna have some problems. I do have some other solder available, but it's not here. That heats up quite quickly. I like that. Rapid heat technology. If Rossmann Repair's got rapid cool technology, we've got rapid heat technology. Hell yeah. It's raining outside, so maybe I can just take the sponge outside quickly and just dip it in a puddle. But then again, no, that's not good, because then it'd have lots of impurities. Okay.
Waihua 862BD+.
I've got an 852D+ by Grandma Shark. Why the hell did they come with that as a brand name? Was it just was the song really that popular? They said, let's make a Grandma Shark soldering station. I'm the laughing stock out of everyone because of that bloody thing. I really should have just covered up the brand and called it Atom, or some kind of rip-off Atom brand or something. Anyways, I'm going to quickly go into the house. I don't really have a fancy Be Right Back screen set up, so it will just be a black screen for now. But anyways, I'll be right back. And I'm back with a wet sponge, just like that. So, I don't know how many people I've lost in that time. Probably everyone. But that's just me. A lot of the time I need to focus on the job at hand rather than the people watching. Of course it's nice to interact with people, but I do need to focus on what I'm actually doing, because the more I point at the camera, I'll just bollocks. Yeah, I'll just break something. So I don't really know. I don't know what's the best method of removing the old caps. I think Bruce uses hot air, and then I think Steve also uses hot air, and everyone else uses the twist and IPA. I don't have any, regrettably. I didn't bring that with me. It's the one thing I didn't bring with me that I needed. So yeah, this board will be a fluxy mess when I'm finished with it. But I'll clean it later. With a little bit of work. Oh my god, these pads are so tiny. I mean, they look tiny at the moment because they're covered with a capacitor, but I don't know what one is what. Oh, you know what? I've got an idea. We're just going to use, what's it? We're going to use the Bruce from Brankus Creations Recapamac Guide. So, what we do is we go to recapamac.com. There we go. Macintosh Classic 2. Ours is the Revision B model, so it has the 2 ROM chips and 17 electrolytic capacitors. And a lot of them are very close to plastic things, but don't worry, I have a pack of razor blades that we can cover that with. There is a PDF of the recapping guide, a high resolution guide as well. Yeah, Bruce doesn't... Just take it slow. The old solder is a bit of a joke to heat up and liquefy. Yeah, it's not crusty as such visually. It looks quite shiny still. So I think I got lucky with this. But yeah, we might have to take this very, very slowly. Where's the best place to start on this, do you think? Where would the best place to I mean, because I don't want to do anything near plastic connectors, so C79 will probably be the hardest. I will probably have to use the iron, and I probably will melt something, because this is next to the main power and video connector and the battery terminal, which hasn't fallen off because I saved mine from a corrosive death. I have a knack for saving things from corrosive deaths. Saved my Xbox from a corrosive death. Well, that'll be another video I'm going to enjoy doing, the temperature sensor. But enough about that. We're talking about Apple, not Microsoft. If we wanted to talk about Microsoft, we'd talk about that Dell laptop in the background that I don't care about. Yeah, so we're just going to have to take it slow. We're at 300 degrees on the soldering iron. I don't know if we need hot air by any chance. But, I don't know. Where's the best place to start? I mean, the C21 might automatically be the easiest. A lot of people tried the twist and pull method with caps. I might try that, but then again, ripping pads is really, really, really high with this. And I'm gonna need flux, of course, because I am not going into this dry. Huh. I don't know why the flux is coming out the back of the tube instead of the front, but works for me. There we go. That's I think we're going to start with C21 to begin with, since it's away from. It's next to a chip, but if I'm careful, you know what? Let's use the hot air. Let's use the hot air to remove the old caps with. Which I'll also set to 300 degrees. Now, so just a quick warning: this is a very loud machine. It's noisy, so just you might want to turn your volume down. Oh, okay, it's not as loud as it was today. I'm going to turn the airflow down. I'm going to turn the heat is currently at 3. Turn that down a bit. Anyway, 300 degrees on both. Let's take stuff off the top of that. Yeah. It's one of those pump mechanism based ones. It doesn't have a blower fan in it like Steve's or Bruce's. It's a nice hot breeze coming out of that. It's actually quite warm. I would run the fan heater. My hands are currently freezing, but I don't know how much wattage both the light, the max charger, the power line adapter, the soldering iron, and probably the fan heater combined would be. That would probably blow the fuse, so we don't want to do that. Because yes, we still use fuses, because we live in the 18th century. This is a very small tip, and I don't think this would be big enough for what I need, so that's a heat, apparently. Oh, that reeks. Yeah, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong talking about this smelling like fish. Jesus Christ. Are we going to have a popper? Is it safe to let caps go bang? Or will it take the pad off with it? Charlie, I'd better ask you for that, because you've had at least one blow up on you, I think. Yeah, this old solder is really, really mucky. Now I'm not going to put any force on this capacitor. I'm just going to let it float off of the pads. Because if I knock it hard, I'm going to take pads off with it. And pulling pads is not a nickname I want. That's Wayne's nickname. Wayne's pad puller, I think. Is it Wayne that pulls pads? I don't know. It's one of you people. Oh, I heard a little pop. Oh, hey, I think it's just gone pop. Oh, there's crap's going everywhere. Hey, it came off! And it didn't rip any pads. I just pulled my first cap off. I think. Is that a pad that's still intact? Oh. I think it is. I think it is. I think I just took my first capacitor off, people. Oh, man. Oh, that was slow. Yeah, this is a stupid thing I invented to hold the thing. I want to keep all the paper invoices away from that. But yeah, I just took my first cap off. Right here, it's a, what does it say? 16 volt, 10, so this is a 10 microfarad 16 volt capacitor, which is rather convenient. I've got them right here. The only problem is what way was it on? I didn't pay attention. Is there a silk screen on the motherboard where it tells you where the positive pad is? Because I wasn't paying attention when it was. Ow, that's hot. Yeah, apparently letting caps go pop is the ideal way of doing things. We'll tear one of these caps down later on, see what's inside. Maybe I'll do it one of the bigger juicy ones. Yeah, so I pulled that cap off. We haven't bridged any pads on any other chip. It does look a bit messy. But yeah, okay, let's have a look. Can't you add leaded solder to bring the melting temp down? I don't think I've got any leaded solder. Is there any way of finding out if it's leaded or not? Because I heard that the melting temperature of leaded stuff is lower. This is melting at 300 degrees, so... There's that. We just wanna... Oh. Yeah, it's a bit... Yeah. Yeah, I might have added a bit too much onto that pad, actually. How do I remove this? Oh, wick. Do I have any wick? I do! Oh yeah, I do. But it's really, really small. I think we'd be more worried about any traces under the caps getting damaged or charred. If any traces happen to pass underneath, I'd be surprised if you blew off a pad popping a cap. There is a trace running under that cap, you are correct. Hey, that's not bad. Yeah, there is one running under here, but I don't know if it's damaged or not. I can't really look at that. It looks to be damaged. There's like a dark bit in the middle of it. Well, that might just be my vision being poor. Who knows? So we need like a tiny, tiny amount of solder just to yeah, that looks like enough. So now we just need more flux, because we need Rossmann amounts of flux, but I don't think I have any. So, still going. There we go. There. This crap won't melt. It won't liquefy. I'm gonna have to manually stick it on the board. Get off. Get off my tweezers. I'm using all the inappropriate tools to do this. I'm very sorry. I know I'm being looked down on by all the professionals here. They're all going, nah, what are you doing, man? This is the worst soldering job I've ever seen. Yeah, but I think that was okay. So we're going to take one of our brand new capacitors, our 16 volt fancy ones. Yeah, having this this soldering station running all the time is really annoying. I'm very sorry, but
Can't really turn it off because I might wear the heating element out. I don't trust these Chinesium stations too much anymore, considering mine makes a hell of a racket. Can I just turn the air down a bit more? There we go. That's the problem. When you turn the heat up more, it just gets louder. I'm assuming the black stripe on a capacitor is the negative pole, am I right? I mean, I'd have to be, because well, I can't. I'd be very surprised if I was correct. Right. Yes. Bruce has struck again, and he has placed where the... Oh, it is! There's a little silk screen that has a plus symbol on it. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're just gonna drop down this cap onto the pads. And then... How sensitive are tantalum capacitors to heat? Can I damage it if I keep the heat on it too long? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did warn you about the caps potentially swimming away in their own flux. And the fact is, I am so nervous. Yeah, I'm discoloring this cap. Is this breaking it? Oh dear. Oh. Ah. This is hard, because the cap keeps blowing away. How am I going to do this without destroying the pads and/or... Well, destroying the pads is the worst case scenario. If I kill the cap, it doesn't really matter, because I've got like 9 of them. People did recommend putting like force on them, but I don't think this is leaded solder I'm using. It's taking too long to melt under hot air. Yeah, this is old solder I'm using. I'm not using the latest stuff. Ah! Stop blowing away, you stupid thing! Oh, this is embarrassing now. This is just proving that I cannot solder. I can remove stuff, sure. That's not a problem. But soldering new stuff on? Yeah, no chance. I guess maybe using hot air to resolder components is not what we do here. I'm starting to think that we don't solder things on with using the hot air. I think that we use the iron to do that. Yeah, but then again, using the iron just means more fiddliness. That can't be right, can it? Let's get ourselves a screwdriver, push some flux out. Yeah. This is gonna take forever. I'm very sorry, people, but this will take probably until the rest of time. I'm just gonna redo these pads here. Oh my god, it smells of fish. It potentially boil the electrolyte and cause them to leak or pop without too much heat. They are all electrolytes. Yes, you are correct in assuming that. They are all electrolytic caps. Oh my god. Oh, Luke, the soldering is trash. Why? Why did you bother? Then again, if I'm gonna own something as vintage as this, I need to be prepared to the fact that you will need to solder these eventually. Could it be the tip I'm using? Because I am using the pointy tip here. What tip do people use normally? I've got a whole packet of tips here. I've got this flat wedge one, this one, got this one here, this one that's cut into like another wedge. Yeah, don't know which one would be the best one for this job, because so far I haven't managed to stick a single cap on it. In fact, this is so embarrassing. I've even lost that. Oh, there it is. No, I haven't. Yeah, I'm starting to think that I'm using the wrong tip, so I'm going to turn the soldering iron off. I'm going to let it cool down and we're going to swap the tips over. I mean, I could swap them while they're hot, but A, I'm going to burn myself, and B, something else will go wrong, so... I guess I could just use the hot air station to flow those solder joints. All the flux seems to just be running away. Yeah, this is not melting. This stuff is not melting at all. I don't think this is lead. I don't think this is leaded solder. This has to be lead free. Oh, there's no point doing that. Turn it off. Oh, this is becoming a massive disaster here. It's all gone wrong, and I don't have any other solder. I saw I had a whole another roll of the stuff. Where did it go? This is dreadful. I can't believe this. I'm losing everybody. They're just, yeah. I knew this would happen eventually. I'm doing it all wrong. It's these bloody hands. They're too jittery. Nothing. I can't concentrate. Because I know I've got the pressure of everybody watching. And this is why I don't like soldering sometimes. But I want to get into soldering. If I can't do something simple like this, I've got no chance. Ah. Always the process of getting the damn thing back on the pads. I'm going to turn the airflow down even further. I think the more control I have over the cap, the more likely it's going to solder down. it's so close. Try one more time. I don't know if that's on or not. It looks to be. The capacitor's gone brown. Yeah, I know practice makes perfect, but admittedly, I should have worked on something before this. It's not good practice to poke something you've just soldered because it will come off, but I think that's on there. Would you say that's on there? This is a very, very poor example. Let me see, where is it? There. Would you say that that's soldered on there? And plus, are any of these chips sensitive to heat specifically? Because I don't want to kill something just because I've spent too long with 300 degrees around this. But yeah, the cap's gone brown. I don't know if that's completely buggered it. I haven't got a multimeter. Well, I do, but it's buried somewhere. I'll have to go find it. Actually, no, that's a good idea. We shall test the capacitor to make sure it's made connection. Right. Let me just gonna find it. Oh wait, no, that's not it. That's got all the screws and shit in it. I want this one, because that's got all the electrical gubbins and bits and bobs and all that in it. Multimeter will inevitably be in here. And it isn't. And where's the multimeter gone? Without the multimeter, I cannot test whether that cap is actually on there or not. Oh. See, this has all spiraled down into a massive disaster. First it started off and I couldn't find the bloody stream key. I should maybe just avoid streaming in future, just don't do it. Because you'll embarrass yourself to no end. Right, I don't know how cold this soldering tip is now. It's relatively lukewarm. So we're gonna change over the tip for something a bit. Oh. Sugar. Yeah, we're gonna change over the tip to something a bit more manageable. So it's gonna be one of these. Let's actually see. Let's have a test run. What would this look like? That'd be too fat. We don't want that. What about this one? This one looks nice. Nice and manageable. It's got the flat tip on the end. Yeah, I think this is the lucky one. I'm going to use this one. Why is this not going in? Is this supposed to go on the other way around then? Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think it... Yeah, get this the wrong way around. This thing does cool down quite quick. Hard to say if it looked good. I think those rectangular claps, the stripe side is positive, so as long as you got the orientation right, you're half... Oh. Is striped positive? I thought striped was negative. No. On the electrolytics, the stripe is not on the negative side. One sec, I'm going to have to look at what Bruce's guide says.
Always consult to the expert's guide. Is there? There's no picture of what it looked like after. Oh, hang on. No, there is. C8. Yes, the stripe is on the positive side. I put the cap on backwards. Ugh! I spent all this time getting it on perfectly. I need to find out. Oh, yeah, about that. It's
supposed to go in the other way there, mate. Oh. I really, really wish I now took a course.
Some sort of educational college course on repairing electronics now, because,
God, I needed that. I think should we get a new cap? Because this one's gone brown. I think we should probably just bin this one. I don't know if heat or discoloration affects the way tantalums work or not. In fact, let's turn the airflow up a bit on here. The more violent the air is, it'll just blow the cap away without breaking anything. Fingers crossed. There we go. Our capacitor is now off.
And now, because of that abysmal job I did, I'm now going to have to use the solder wick on the actual thing itself. Didn't think I'd ever need to use solder wick, but yeet, apparently that's a thing. It's all part of learning. You're doing fine. I suppose. Getting there, slowly but surely. Right, let's turn the soldering iron back on, because I've got a new tip on there now. So, yeah, I think I'm going to bin... I'll keep this cap aside. I don't know if heat affects tantalums, but I'm going to get a new one just in case. Right, hang on. How many of these do I need, just out of interest? Right, No, it's in here somewhere. Where's Drive PDF Reader? Oh, there we go. 10 volts, 16 microfarad. I'm going to need 12 of them. And I've just used one. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I've got plenty of spare. Okay. Capacitor number 2. To your collection point, please. Hey. Right, Right, that's now apparently at full speed. Let's get my phone out of here. If I set my phone on fire, it'll be very entertaining. Unexpected Android destruction. Oh dear. Oh, but now I'm going to need a new phone. I don't think EE covers accidental damage. Oh, no, I just set the battery on fire with my soldering iron. Don't worry about that, sir. Do you apply pressure when using solder wick or not? I heard it is bad practice to drag the wick. Oh yeah. Those are some clean looking pads. Little bit, you're just kind of brushing with the wick. Oh, so I don't make contact, I just like hover it over and then the solder just goes, it'll just suck itself in. Okay, nice. Right, we've cleaned the pads, which is good, so we can now start off with the new cap on the correct side. Hang on, do tantalums explode the same way electrolytics do if you do put them on backwards? Just out of interest, because I'm now going to be scared to turn this thing on. I've recapped the Mac, congratulations, now I'm scared to turn it on. which is now forever a brick. And that's what I'm scared. By the way, the computer was working before we were working on here. Now it isn't working because we've removed a capacitor. And I don't know if C21 is important or not, but it's on one of the VLSI chip rails, so it's probably important. Oh god. Right. Those are now in. We're going to need some more wick. Rather conveniently, there appears to be a strand of the stuff around here. Yeah. But come to think of it, my first repair, if I can remember back to when I didn't record it or anything, but my first actual repair was a Dell. I think it's a Dell. Yeah, a Dell Inspiron CCFL inverter. The fuse had blown and one of the caps were bad, so I swapped the cap and the fuse over from a. It was a sort of good inverter, but the transformer I think was bad, so it would come on, but it wouldn't be that bright. You'll make contact. You just don't want to use too much force, just a gentle pass. Well, that's what I was doing earlier. So let's sit down. Let's have a seat. Yeah, the lack of a multimeter is going to be a massive issue if I can't locate one before long. Right, we want to turn the airflow down again, just so that we don't blow the component away. I'd say you want to apply a tiny bit of pressure to the component you're soldering down. Oh, I think it's making contact. Yeah. How I've not pulled a pad yet is ridiculous. Ow. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but whatever it is, it's broken now. Oh, that was my phone. Brilliant. This is a hell of a project for one of your first solder repairs. Yeah, I know. But I was told if I don't do it soon, then I'll regret it, so yeah. Oh god. It's not really one of my first solder repairs, this is like the
fourth. Well, I don't even know if well, only one as far as I'm aware has been successful. The other one was a reflow, which didn't last very long. Oh god. I'm gonna have to just end up sending this to Steve at one point and have it cleaned up. As if it works, which I doubt it will. I'm really starting to think that this little tip here is more ideal for I don't know. I mean, I can check the connection to ground with a multimeter, but I don't think I'll be able to check the connection to anywhere else, because I don't know where that cap connects to. And without a multimeter, I'm kind of I'm stuck in the dark here. That's not what I wanted. Well, that was clearly not what I wanted. This is even more embarrassing than the first repair I did. And I didn't even film it! Not matching the right tip for the job. Too big and you lose your control. Too small and you don't transfer enough heat. Trust me. Soldering, at the moment, I think we've all figured out that it really isn't for me. And although as upsetting as it is, and I really, really want to learn, I don't think I have the equipment suitable for the job. I mean, I've got a cheap, crappy station. I've got solder that's probably older than me. I think old solder is just trash in general. I've got flux that isn't even decent. What is this? Soldering paste. Doesn't even have a brand. I use this MG Chemical Super Wick stuff. I don't even know if that's any good. All my tools are cheap, off-brand stuff. I don't have any iFixit toolkits or anything yet. I'm getting an iFixit kit for my birthday, so I guess I'll have that to look forward to. And yeah, I've got this trashy job of it. Oh god, God help me if anyone has to hire me for any soldering, because they'll see this and they'll think, what the hell is he doing? And I haven't even got any bloody isopropyl alcohol to get rid of the flux with, so this board will be sticky. I mean, I can safely say the cap is on there. It's secure. It just looks disgraceful. So, yeah. I'm assuming everyone can hear me properly, because if I'm doing this and no one can hear me at all, then yeah, brilliant. I can't stream. I can't make videos without something going wrong. I think I should just give up. That's all I can potentially do. How the hell is anyone else able to do this? I'm gonna have to start looking at what everyone else in chat uses as their tools. It's just money. Money is tight. I don't have money for decent things, you see. I can only cheap out. I need to get a job, admittedly. So, well, without a multimeter, we can't do anything. So, should I replace another cap, or should I stop here just in case I break something else? Because I'm adamant that I've ruined it completely. I blame Apple. Blame Apple for using electrolytic capacitors. Yeah. But then again, you can't really blame science at all. You know, when science does things, that's science for you. I think I might be using too small of a tip on the hot air station as well. Because, yeah, I don't think I'm transferring enough heat. I can't even see. I don't even have a microscope, so screwed if I know. Hey, at least I haven't ripped any pads. What went wrong? Well, I'm pretty sure I've done something wrong here. Bet on the Noob is yes. Yes, absolutely. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Dr. Cassette, what I've gotten wrong is I don't think I've got it wrong. It's just it looks a mess. It's trash. It doesn't look professional. It might work, but I haven't got a multimeter, so I can't test if the thing's even connected, and it's not just laying on a bed of solder that isn't connected to anything. But if I was to look at that and professional, I'd probably be laughing until next year. But yeah, we haven't got any multimeters. I'll have to look around. I'll have to fish around. I'm very sorry. I'm just wasting everyone's time now. No wonder no one's watching the stream anymore. I mean, if you've stuck around this long, thanks. Thanks. The loyal viewers. I mean, I don't blame anyone for leaving. If you got stuff to do, just go and do it. Don't worry about me. You can fix it. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I've got razor blades to protect the metal things from being melted, but I don't think that'll work. I think the heat will just go through the blade and melt it anyways. Back in the day, I mean, when these were built, oh no, YouTube's not receiving enough. Viewers will experience buffering. I know people are enjoying me make a fool of myself, but that's what comedy's all about. I'm going to turn the soldering iron back off and transfer over to the micro pencil tip thing. That's not really a micro pencil. Anyway, I'm probably behind on chat. I'm going to have to go back. You said there's a lot to be about buying good tools, indeed. I still use the horrible cheap stuff on many jobs. You should start an Amazon wishlist so guys can send you random things. I mean, that would help, but I don't have any, I don't have any, I don't have a PO box, so ideally, I'd like something like that, because I'd like to see if people can send me bits to perhaps have a go at trying to fix and expand my skills on. I mean, this is all just like my mate Vince. I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing, but he always has a cracking good time doing it. And here, it's pain for me, because I know that I'll never be able to have. I'm not as humble as some people. The stream is working for. Well, weird. Oh, the message has gone away now. Stream status is good. I did. Yeah, it does say that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. But I'm on Wi-Fi and I'm on Ethernet, so if anything was to go down, it should still work. But yeah, I don't know anymore. If I had a multimeter handy right now, I'd be testing away, but we don't have anything, so I'm just rambling here, trying to pass the time. Come on, where the hell did you put it? Where is it? It's got to be here somewhere. The thing of it working without I don't even have a benchtop power supply. And everyone says that's the one thing you need if you're ever going to attempt to repair something. Well, I don't. It's not even in there. Why didn't I ask them before they left if they knew where it was? Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I could try doing is plugging the Mac in and seeing if it posts. Ah, maybe I'll consider it in the future then, but not at the moment. Perhaps when when I'm more financially stable, something might happen. Anyways, we should probably be... I don't know. I want to test it, but I don't want to test it in fear of blowing it up. 3 multimeters and I can never bloody find one when you need one. Yep. Yeah, I could probably build my own power supply, but then again, that also requires, well, everything I need in order to solder something. It's just an endless rabbit hole, as far as the eye can see. But anyways, trying to fix something is just a pain in the backside. I congratulate people who do this for a living, because, that's... Ow! Yeah, that's still too bloody hot. Waiting for why do I... Oh. Is there a soldering iron that has, like, hot swappable tips? It's like a tactical reload soldering tips. That would be helpful, because then I can change tips with it still at 300 degrees. At least my tips aren't discoloring. I don't have to go at 3. I think the one thing I need above all is leaded solder, because I think that the solder I'm using at the moment, this stuff is lead free and it's crap. Is there any way to test if it's lead free or not? So basically, you've replaced the capacitor, but you can't get the new cap to connect properly. Well, I think it's connected, but I don't know if it's connected. So it might just be sitting on a bed of solder for all I know. The pads might have touched. It could be shorting. I'm scared of just blowing the whole computer up, because this is from 1992. Replacement motherboards are not findable. People do not sell parts to these things anymore. I mean, if this was an old Dell XPS or a Dimension or something, then sure, motherboards are all over the place. I can just go pop down my local scrapyard and hey, they've got an XPS 720 for £1 because we don't want it anymore. But no, for a Macintosh, it's a whole new Macintosh Classic 2, which has been probably worked on and cleaned and fixed and all that. That had set me back at least £1,000, because people are smoking crack when it comes to selling stuff. No offence to people who sell vintage hardware, but if you do it at exorbitant prices, you're not going to sell it. Just don't do it. The risk to try and post it. I mean, I could try posting it, but it's just going to go bang. I don't know enough about electronics to be competent enough. And there's me thinking, oh, I'm going to replace the encoder in my PS4 sometime. I don't even think I'll manage to do that. But yeah, all the plus signs are pointing to where the mark is not pointing to. But then again, when it comes to a recapped board, all of the slightly darker sides of the cap are all facing the positive rail. So it must be on the right round. It simply must be on the right way around. What temperatures do you have set on my station? 300 degrees on both. TS100 or Kager soldering station? Yeah, I mean, Kager makes some good stuff. Yeah. Then again, I did only get this a few, I think it was a year ago I got this. But it's just the fear of the unknown is what it is. Right, I'm going to go back to the really small tip on the soldering iron. Yeah, I've got 300 degrees on both. I'd never make an encoder in my PS4 either. Maybe in another 5 years. Yeah. The only problem is I got to start fixing things before I move house, because the more broken things I have lying around, that's just more of an excuse for, well, yeah. I know it does look like a hoarding issue, and it kind of is sometimes. But half the times I try to fix things, they just end up on the shelf. I mean, I got a half-assed attempt to repair a PlayStation 3 NEC token replacement, and before I even knew what Syscon was,
I just ripped the NECs off thinking, oh, it's always the NECs, it can't possibly be the RSX, it's been misdiagnosed all these years. Yeah, but it's a PS3 Slim with a notoriously unreliable thing. Now my soldering iron's smoking. It's on fire. Is this normal? I don't know. Are you okay there, buddy? Are you hot yet? No, it's hot. It's taking soda, but you don't need that. Yeah, well,
Let's just try and see what we can do here. It's kind of like detailing on a car. When you detail something, you've got to do it very, very gently. Yeah, I'm touching another via, I think, here. It's, Oh, did I just destroy the via? Oh, no. Nah, well, I guess it can't hurt to try it out, I suppose. But then again, the more and more I plug things in and unplug things, I'm working with a charged CRT here. I wouldn't mind if it was a PC, but it's got a CRT in it. A dead fan in a laptop. Ugh, that's child's play. That's stuff I do every day. That's the kind of job I want to get into. What was it? FRP, factory replaceable. No, I think it's FRC, factory replaceable component or something. No, FRU. There we go. Factory replaceable, field replaceable unit. Basically just changing out batteries, screens, RAM, hard drives, anything that's gone bad, just the simple stuff. Because I'm a dab hand with a screwdriver, I can do whatever. I've got this knack for putting laptops back together that are in 3 million different pieces. I don't know if you've seen the my laptop collection with that Toshiba Portage 3410. Oh, that was an absolute pain in the arse, but I got there eventually. So now, yeah, we're going to put this computer back together, but I'm only going to put like one... I'm going to put both of the ROMs back in, because I don't know if I need both of them. But I'm not going to put both of the RAMs in, I'm only going to put one RAM. I'm sure a Mac has built-in RAM, doesn't it? Oh, the Hitachi one goes up here. Okay. And, oh yeah, I've also got to make sure that it's one pin over so that I don't blow the IC up, which it is. I think it is. Anyways, let's have a look. Yeah. The problem's because I don't think anyone here in chat has worked on a classic Mac before, so I can't really ask for any assistance. It's just the flux burning. It's 350 degrees. Personally, I use about 370 for lead-free solder. You need about 400. Yeah, and I was warned by someone who has recapped a Mac before not to go over 300 degrees. That's the thing. That's the thing, Dr. Cassette. I don't want to do that. Some sort of microscope. I do have a microscope right here. That's my microscope. A touch, yeah, I've touched a CRT as well, but that was when it was discharged. It was a 14-inch colour LG tube from a iMac. It felt weird. It felt dusty. It's like this sort of rough. It felt like sand texture. It's a very interesting feel, and I half expected to die. Yes, I half expected to feel I'd get zapped. Anyway, what's the stream quality like? I'm only streaming off of a MacBook Pro. 2010 MacBook Pro with only a few gigs of RAM, so I think it's 8 gigs of RAM total. So if anyone can tell me how that's looking, that would be brilliant. Alright, please don't go bang. I mean, if I do end up buggering this Mac, all hope is not lost, because there is someone in the US that does repair these for a living. So I might just have to bite the bucket and pay for shipping. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get the mat, the thing I stick all the CRT down on to prevent scratching it. Because this Mac, despite being crusty, it is mint. Yeah, like the motherboard is all kind of crunchy and all that, but the overall condition of the computer itself, physically, it's immaculate. There's only a slight bit of yellowing on the back. This has to be a very, very well maintained computer. This was kept in an office most of its life, in a little yellow egg crate of sorts, with all of its accessories. The battery wasn't a Maxell, but battery wasn't a Maxell bomb, but it was. Well, it didn't even leak. It was one of these non-organic. I don't know. I still have the battery somewhere. We'll look at it some other time. Adrian's Digital Basement. No, it's Steve from Mac84. If you've ever watched his content, he's brilliant. I sometimes drop in on his streams, but except since he's in the United States, I'm normally asleep by the time he streams. So, yeah, this is a problem because there's so much paper around here. This is a massive bloody fire hazard. You know what? I'm just going to say screw it and just plonk it down on the surface. What's the worst that could happen? Well, aside from me blowing the motherboard up, of course. I really should just not... I feel like taking things apart when I'm doing live streams just wastes people's time. Don't know what your opinions are on that. What do you think? Do you think I should just have the thing ready to go, or do you think you like seeing me take things apart skeptically? Because I really don't trust myself. Alright, there's that. Here's the floppy drive. And here's the big old SCSI drive. And surprisingly, the SCSI drive in here still works, despite being, I want to say, the latter part of nearly 30 years old. And, yeah. And then, of course, it's getting the cover back on, because then... Oh, I did just touch the CRT then, and I didn't die. I didn't feel anything, actually. Felt very unusual. Damn it. If the temperature is too low, soldering will take quite a long time, increasing the risk of things to go wrong, and the final result won't look very good. Oh god, it's one of those bots in the chat. 1 second. I'll just get rid of that. There we go. Better to go with a higher temperature. It can work fast, but in the end this is your decision. Well, I don't want to break the computer irreparably, and I don't care how messy the end result is, because it's going to be hidden inside a case at the end of the day. No one's going to really look at it. So, if it works, that's like I said, it ain't stupid if it works. But, considering I don't know what I'm doing here, it's really... This is a horrible thing to work on, but this is my first Mac recap, so maybe the more and more I do research on... There was a video that someone did send me on one of those servers. Unfortunately, it turned out it was a live stream, and I wasn't prepared to watch 3 hours of Bruce recapping a Mac. I mean, if it was a tutorial on how to do it, then by all means, I don't care how long it took, but it was an old live stream, so yeah. Right, there's our mains cable. I'm half expecting this to go pop.
I'm not saying I don't trust Bruce's pictures, but anything can happen at this point, and it's just gonna... Oh, God. Right. Power on at the mains. 3, 2, 1...
Are we getting a picture on the screen? Yeah, we got something. Oh no. I think it's posting, sort of. No. We've got like a normal checkerboard-ish screen, but we haven't got. There's no drive. There's nothing. It's not booting. Nope. We've ruined it, people. We've completely broken the Mac. Oh no. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not trust me around Macs. Yep. So, all of that effort was wasted. I mean, if it worked, I would have at least had the motivation to continue, but right now, I don't know anymore. I don't feel competent enough to continue at this point. It is working, but it ain't booting. It ain't booting. She's dead, boys. She's dead. I've completely killed it. What do I do now? If it's not ruined, just redo it. I know it's not ruined, but I've lost the motivation. I can't do it. Let's just be honest here. I can't do it. I mean, I could try cranking the iron up, but that would just ruin my soldering tips. Because I've got a low-ass quality soldering station, which is it's pants. I'm half expecting to open this up and find that cap just exploded into millions of pieces. Either that, or the trace that was under the cap has become damaged. There was one thing I did have a while back, which was it was called Hobby Wire Glue. Basically, it's just some conductive adhesive. It's very good for building like model railway lights and signage and sound effects and stuff. That's cool for that. But I was considering a while back using it to redo some form of yeah, I was considering a while back using it to rebuild traces, but I don't think that's a good idea because it's glue. It's working, but it isn't booting. So it was booting, and now it's not doing it. So what it would do beforehand, it would come on fine. So it would boot up to the desktop, everything would be bright and dandy, no problem, no questions asked. However, now it seems to be booting, but the mouse pointer doesn't show up, and well, she doesn't load Mac OS, so. Oh. Considering I've just powered this thing up after a while, I don't really like messing around. I mean, I've plugged in ribs, they're not sticky. I have a feeling it's because I've burned that cap. I don't know how sensitive tantalums are to heat, but I have discoloured it with the iron because of how much heat I've applied to it. It's either that or the trace that was under the cap that I did point out felt a bit unusual is broken. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's all gone wrong. Maybe unplug the hard drive and see if you get a sad Mac icon. Well, considering the cap we were working on was near one of the VLSI chips, I don't think that's going to do anything. I don't think... Well, I wouldn't hear a chime anyways. This thing never chimed before. A really cool box. Yeah, it's just a classic Mac. It's one of those old little lunchbox. I think they were nicknamed the Lunchbox Mac. Or were they the LCs? I think the LC was nicknamed the Lunchbox Mac. Now the cover's not going back on. Oh, God. Why? Why did I choose to do this? Why did I choose to say, hey, I'm competent enough, I can do this, I can do anything? No, you idiot. Honestly. Oh, that was caught there. No wonder the cover's not going back on, the cable's caught. I don't think unplugging the hard drive would do anything. Considering I didn't get a mouse pointer, normally you'd get a mouse pointer in a blinking floppy disk folder. Or blinking finder icon or something, I don't know. All I know is it's a flashing question mark on newer Macs, but I suck with older Macs. Because what you have just witnessed. Oh, it. Just the Mac's like, stop touching me. Stop. I don't care. I don't want to live anymore. You've betrayed me. And now I'm going to die. Thanks. I do not trust running this without the cover on. Do you have... just thinking... It's not your rework, but another fault you kind of poked awake. I'm pretty sure it's a trace. I must have... Do you have isopropyl alcohol to clean the board? That's the one thing I forgot. I was meaning to bring the IPA with me, but I forgot. I didn't bring it with me at all. So, no, I don't have any isopropyl alcohol. I did bend a pin on one of the ROMs earlier, but I bent it back, so it can't be that. Surely not. The PCB condition itself, it's not bad. By any stretch of the imagination, it actually looks quite clean. The amount of corrosion is very, very minimal. Hence why it booted up and ran first. Well, booted up and ran after a clean. It would display big checkerboards before, and then after I cleaned it, well, we're back in business. Yeah, I'm going to give what Juminal recommended a go. I'm going to try running it without the hard disk connectors, or the floppy. I'm going to run it with no I/O devices. I'm only going to run it with the main connector attached. Oh no, that didn't go in properly, did it? Yeah, Steve Jobs must be proud of how he engineered this thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a blimmin' brilliant little box. I mean, this was the budget, this was one of the cheaper computers they had available at the time. This is why these were so commonly found in schools, like where I found this one. But yeah, these aren't as desirable as other Macs, like the Power Macs, the Quadras, the LCs, the 512Ks, the Pluses, the Performers, all that fancy gubbins. No, the classic Macs are kind of just looked at as a cheap thing. Yeah, I haven't got this cover on fully, so yeah, we're gonna try again, trying to run it without anything plugged in. Oh, of course I haven't turned it on at the mains. Come on. At least we're getting a video signal, so it's not totally had it. So yeah, we've got something up on the display, which looks like the normal screen I would expect to find. But yeah. Yeah, unplugging the hard drive hasn't seemed to have changed any activity. Don't you have to wait for a while for the flashing question mark folder to come up? At least you have to do that on the modern Macs, but not on these, I don't think. I think it would come up instantly if there was a problem. I don't think it's booting at all. It's a trick. It's a trap. It's trying to get some kind of forgiveness out of me, which it will get. I apologise profusely for what I've done to it. I guess what I could do is just take all the old capacitors off and then just send it off to get professionally done. Which is just, oh, that's an embarrassment. Oh, I'm very sorry for wasting all of your time, honestly. Yeah, we're not getting anything at all. No flashing folder, it's not booting. I'm going to leave that plugged in for a bit, just to ground. But, an unusual device that it's just I have no experience working with. Is that lightning? Oh, brilliant. Now we have to work around the fear of having 3,000 volts being blasted into the Mac through both the Ethernet port and the power jack. And risk blowing up my soldering station, which I'm not going to be overly upset about, but still upset nonetheless. So, no. The answer to that is no, no, no. It is not booting. So, what have we done to anger the gods of Apple and Steve Jobs' spirit? Well, of course, I know what we have done. We've installed a cap in the most crappiest of ways. We've done it exactly the same way you shouldn't, as an amateur. But then again, I'm pretty sure people like Bruce and Steve, when they first started off, they weren't brilliant. I'm pretty sure that they were just like me. They were just a curious little person saying, "Oh, I wonder what's inside here. Maybe I can fix it." I wonder how many Macs they've gone through as practice machines just to get to what they are at today. Like, I could never see me rebuilding traces. Do you have a multimeter? The answer to that would be sadly not. I did have a multimeter here, but I can't find it anywhere. And the person who owns the shed isn't here, so I can't just run indoors and ask them where it is. So, we're kind of in the dark here at the moment. Alright, I'm gonna wick this cat back off. I'm gonna take this capacitor back off because I don't trust it. You might want to turn the temperature on the hot air rework up. About 350, I think you recommended. There we go. Yeah, I just seem to be turning these capacitors black. This has to be something I'm doing. Oh, shit. We haven't blown anything. There's no damage to the trace, though. At least visually, I don't see any damage to any traces underneath that cap. All I can see is a poor soldering job. Now, I potentially could find the issue through a multimeter, but I don't know where this trace leads to that goes under the cap. Yeah, this is depressing, man. I have a feeling that I may have been bridging the pads, so let's go over these. Let's wick the solder off of them. That looks pretty good. Now I just need some isopropyl alcohol to wick the rest of the crap off. But yeah, I don't see any severed pads or anything. I don't see anything. I guess maybe the cap was bad. I mean, I wouldn't blame the cap being bad because it's gone brown, so I might have burnt it. And I'm pretty sure that setting fire to capacitors is not a good idea. But if I had a multimeter, I could test if it's shorted to ground or not. Should I attempt to power this on without the cap attached to the board? I mean, we haven't blown anything up, so yeah, I could put the old cap back on, but I don't know how much electrolyte we've boiled out of it, so I'm just gonna class that as dead, and this is dead. I'm just gonna class all them all as dead. Might be the memory is bad. In fact, we can try booting it without the RAM, because I think these are upgrade slots. I don't think these are necessary for the system to boot. Right, yeah, let's try powering it on without that cap attached, see what happens anyways. I think I was a bit sceptical about turning the thing on before working on it, but now I recall about it, I'm pretty sure we probably should have done that. Just to prove that it did work, and I can, if you check a video I did in March, I think of either 2020 or 2021, that was working. I have video proof of it functional. But yeah, let's take this apart. Oh my god, the weather is miserable out there today. It's kind of sad. I was hoping to do something. Aside from this, I was going to do something else today, but looks like today isn't my day. But yeah. Seeing some weird stuff happen with cheap flux. It conducted enough. If I hadn't cleaned it off, it created some weird behaviour. You know what, Tidder? I think you might be telling the absolute truth here. I think what has happened is that flux is creating a short circuit. But I don't have any IPA to clean it up with. That's the problem. Is there any other chemical I could use to clean it off? I mean, all I can really see here is WD-40, acetone, all of the nasty stuff that you really don't want to put near a PCB. I would have thought, I mean, anywhere in England, if anyone's currently watching from England, then yes, it is completely, it's chucking it down outside. It's horrible. Yeah, what a very, very unusual board behaviour. I have actually, come to think of it, Tidder, I believe what I might be looking at, because there is a lot of flux over the pins of that VLSI chip. I think it's the flux. It has to be the flux. It can't be anything else. It has to be the flux creating a short circuit. There's a short circuit on this motherboard that I believe is preventing the VLSI chip from booting, or it's killed it. Oh god, if I've killed the I/O chip, then we're doomed, people. Another tool that people recommend I have on hand is an ultrasonic cleaner, but I don't have a spare $3 lying around. I'd rather spend that on a car, if you ask me. Why didn't I bring my isopropyl alcohol with me? Why? This is stupid. I should have started with the audio IC. Yeah, you got people out there. You are correct. There is lots of flux, and maybe let's have a look. Warning: may contain lead. Okay. No poison, no erosion. Good immersion, joint high density. Made in China. Well, that explains everything. It's made in China. Electrical contact cleaner. Yes. Yes. I don't have any of that though. I used to have electrical contact cleaner, and that is brilliant for getting rid of stuck on thermal paste off of processor chips where you don't want to scrub because of those little tiny resistors around the BGA package. You really don't want to knock those off. I find contact cleaner brilliant for dissolving and getting rid of solidized thermal paste. Yeah, I took the old cap off and it looks okay. Yeah. Gonna try running it without the capacitor attached. Without any of the I/O attached either. And without any of the expanded RAM. Still don't expect any different behaviour here, but you won't know unless you try. Yeah, getting these motherboards in and out of these classic 2s is very hard. You're probably thinking why I didn't send this off to a professional in the first place, and the answer to that is I wanted to try it myself. So, yeah. A very, very bad thing to practice on. Oh, hey, the cover went on first time. We didn't have to wrestle with it this time. Nah, let's not bother with the screws. Can't be arsed. Oh, yeah, maybe I should have put the screws in there. All we're plugging in is the power. I'm not going to bother with the mouse because I think that might require too much effort from the bus. I still can't believe the hard drive is still work. Oh, we've got it. We got a little mouse pointer. A little mouse pointer on the screen. Look, there's a mouse. We've got a mouse. It's there. So I don't understand. Was it the RAM? Was it the cap causing the problem? I don't know. I always had a feeling that the stripe. We've got a blinking question mark. We've got a blinking question mark. It's right there. Look at it. Look at it. It's doing the thing. It's doing the thing. So I don't understand. Was it the RAM? Was the RAM bad? Was it the cap causing the issue? Well, it can still run without that cap. So I don't know. What the hell was causing it then? I'm very puzzled here. Well, it works. So that's a good thing. So I haven't killed the motherboard. I haven't blown up any of the chips, and nothing was shorting. So it's either that cap was not installed properly. It was either put on backwards. I have a feeling I put it on backwards,
Put the RAM back in. Good idea. I shall put the RAM back in. Then again, if the RAM is bad, it should have given me a sad Mac. But it didn't, so, should I unplug the hard drive from power as well? I don't want to put the hard drive under too many spin-ups and spin-downs, because that'll reduce its lifespan more. I hate this vice. I don't think this vice is in an appropriate location. Right, again, of course, I am working around, well, not really live electrical equipment. I have been working around high voltage equipment. This is 11,000 kilovolts, if not more. Do not attempt what I'm doing unless you know what you're doing, right? Just telling you all out there. Don't touch CRTs, kids, unless you want brown pants and a bad taste in your mouth. Yeah, I'm going to put the RAM back in and see if the behaviour changes. Because I have a feeling these RAM slots all go through that VLSI chip. If the cap went through low resistance, it might bog down the power rail to get a chip unstable. That might be I think I put the cap on backwards. I'm adamant I put the cap on backwards, but all of Bruce's pictures in his recap photographs, they all seem that he's put them in the right way round. So we're going to try putting it in, well, we're going to try we put the same slot in here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to unplug the hard drive. There we go. We don't want to cause too much stress on that drive. Let's get rid of this big cable as well. Lets us work around easier with the motherboard. Can I take this one out as well? Yeah, I can. Let's get rid of all the ribbon cables, because we don't need any of the I/O at the moment. Right, yeah, so we're going to install one of the memory chips, and we're going to try a different slot. So the VLSI chip, I think, is the memory management chip. Okay, so there are two VLSI chips. There's this small thing down here, and then there's this one up here. So the larger one, I'd assume, is memory management. I thought it was the chipset. Because I know the Motorola chip is the Motorola chip is the central processing unit. The AMD chip is the SCSI controller. VLSI chip probably has to be the self bridge. Everything has to have a self bridge. Surely it does. Every computing device I've seen has had a self bridge. Even the PlayStation. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, all of that stuff has all had appropriate south bridges and north bridges and all sorts. Even that bloody HP DV6 laptop I have, with the dead north bridge. It's a dead north bridge, but it's got a north bridge. Speaking of which, I'm going to be replacing the motherboard now. Because I love that computer too much. Its speakers, man, are just next level. HP really do know what they're doing when it comes to sound. I mean, say what all you like about Altec Lansing, but holy crap, that thing was bassy. Yeah, so we've installed a RAM, one of the memory modules. We've also removed all the ribbon cables, so the covers should all go on. Oh dear, that doesn't sound healthy. Yeah, all the professionals do. Oh, didn't have the cover on properly. Okay, so again, I'm not going to bother putting the screws in. This time I'm going to plug a mouse in. I don't know if maybe the mouse... No, the mouse can't have brought it down because we booted it again without the mouse and it didn't do anything. So power is already on at the mains. Here we go. Right, our hard drive isn't doing anything this time, but that's because I've unplugged it. Yeah, we've got the same behaviour as last time. Nope. Nothing. No behaviour.
So I have a feeling the memory expansion slots are done through that chip, which I've taken the cap off of for. Interesting. Well, I'm at a loss here. So it does work. It's not completely had it. I can still have a functional computer as long as I don't have the RAM in it. Yeah, it's doing the same thing again, so I'm just going to assume the VLSI chip is 100% responsible for the memory management. I'm just going to wait a bit for the power to discharge through the earth. Yeah, what a very, very strange device. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss here. So I really don't know what I'm doing. What's happening here? But what we've done is we've had confirmed that it is indeed that capacitor is for the memory, and I've either burnt the cap to the point where it's no longer functional, or I put it on backwards, but I can't put it on backwards. Right. Has anyone in the chat worked with tantalum capacitors before? If so, what does the black stripe on it mean? So, if I get one, don't know if you can see this very clearly, but there is a black stripe here. Is that positive or negative? Because if I put it on the wrong way round, then, well, our response, that's the problem. We put the cap on backwards. And I half expected the cap to go bang. But the only reason I thought the cap would go bang is because I saw New Retro Repair's video on the PlayStation 3 that had its NEC token mod done incorrectly. And I know because that has high amperage going through it. So of course it would go bang because it's high amperage. This is all low voltage stuff. If I'd done something wrong on the power board, we'd know about it because it'd go kaboom. So yeah, so I believe what I've done here is I've just prevented any electricity going into the memory management. So yeah, ain't brilliant, ain't big, ain't clever, but I'm pretty sure that has to be our issue. I haven't torn any traces because without the RAM it works fine. What an unusual device indeed. Alright. Can you show us the cap again? Of course. This is a bit of a burnt one though. But yeah, the black stripe is on this side, if you can see. Don't know how good the... hang on, if I pull up OBS I can have a look at what... I can see what you're seeing. But yeah, on this side is where that black stripe is. You can see it quite clearly here. This is why this is why I don't stream, because it all goes wrong. But at least I've got some people sticking around in chat, and I thank you all for that. I need the company when I'm going through these trying times. When everything goes wrong, I can know that I can trust people. They won't laugh at me much. You're well within your right to laugh at how stupid this is, but try and keep it to a minimum. Ah, so the black stripe is the positive rail. Okay, so in that case, Bruce is correct, and I did stick it on properly the first time. But why is it not working? I'm going to try and put that cap back on again.
the screws back in so that I can transport the case with ease. Yeah, it's just I always thought that the stripe meant negative on the Might be having RAM in this particular slot of the RAM stick itself. No, because it worked before. It worked perfectly fine. Most of those caps I've used, the line mark depicts positive, which is stupid because this cylindrical cap markings use should. Yeah, I know, it's stupid. I think it should all be universal. I think it should all be positive, should be nothing, and negative should have a stripe on it. That's my personal opinion. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag at the moment, so we don't really know what's going on. But I'm going to give it another crack, because I'm an idiot. And I know this could probably potentially ruin the entire board, but whatever. We won't know unless we try. And get some solder wherever the hell I left it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this pointy tip is not the best, but what I need personally is a one of those vacuum fume extractors. Because most of the time when I'm soldering, I seem to be paying more attention to the fumes blowing in my face than what I'm actually doing. I'm very sensitive to this kind of thing. So I've put a little bit of solder onto those pads. I don't know if any of these capacitors are good still, but I'm going to try putting one back on. Yeah, wish me luck, I suppose. A rework temperature is higher than the iron temperature, so... Oh, shit. It's just not gripping. It's not soldering down. It's not soldering down at all. It's just, it keeps coming back off. When will it grip? Just... Oh my god, it keeps blowing away. Leave me alone. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, okay. Off we go to cleaning the pads again for the 9 millionth time. And this is going to be the day that I rip the pads off. Oh god. No, more like this is going to be the day I get wick stuck to it. Yeah, this stuff, it feels really crummy. Like, it doesn't feel smooth. It feels like mash. Like mash. This is a very odd thing to compare it to, but it feels like mashed potato. Is my soldering iron's still on a low temp. Should probably put that up to 350 maybe.
like Dr. Cassette recommended.
Yeah, these fluorescent lights don't really like me adjusting my soldering iron temperature because they flicker like nuts. Yeah, this stuff is stuck to the pads now. It's this bloody solder. Yeah, it's the solder. It has to be the solder. It's crap, to put it bluntly. Hey, I got it off without ruining the pads. Could be the debris I'm flinging all over the board, probably. I am really not sure about this one. It's the moment I let the heat off, it just falls completely back off. Oh, it doesn't even attempt to stay put anymore. It's just... I don't know what's happening here. It really... At this point, I'm just tempted to use that wire glue, but then... it would make me the mockery of the century. I mean, that's on there. There's enough gap between the two pads, they ain't touching. It's certainly making contact. I don't know if... No, it has... Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, it has to be soldered on. A lot of people say it's not a good idea to rapid cool down solder joints because then it adds stress. I'm going to try a different stick in a different slot this time. I'm going to try the one towards the back perhaps. This board flexes to no end.
Maybe I shouldn't blow on it, because then I'd end up spitting all sorts of weird bodily fluids over it, and it would just not be very good for it. Yeah, this capacitor is not really a tantalum anymore. It's a brown tilum capacitor because it's just burnt. I have no idea how sensitive they are to heat, but I've completely fucked it either way. Sit over there, Mr. Soldering Station. Go away. I cannot risk melting the beautiful case. This Mac physically is in beautiful physical condition. It's mint. Bar a bit of yellowing on the back, which I could probably solve with some retro brighting. It is mint. It just has to be the most beautiful thing. It's not even as bad as most of these classic Macs have gotten. It hasn't achieved cheese levels of discoloration yet. It's not filthy. It's not broken. Well, it is broken now. But yeah, it was in brilliant condition. I'm just going to see how cool this one cap is now. So it was a 10 microfarad 16 volt capacitor that I needed to use. And that's what Bruce's guide says. It's not what I say. I didn't make it. I didn't make the guide. I haven't soldered countless Macs. No. No, this'll never do. No, so apparently it's still not working. I thought recapping was straightforward. No. Well, I'll see you another time, Tidder. Thanks for joining anyways. Nah. I'm afraid she's dead, boys. I don't know what the hell I've done, but I've clearly overheated one chip or something with the iron trying to put that cap on. I must have. There is no other way. It must have ruined one of the chips. I don't think I have the motivation to continue going at this point. Yeah. I mean, I've destroyed 2 capacitors. Well, at least I think I've destroyed them. I have to. Yeah, it's all that could have happened at this point. But, yeah, at this point, I don't really have the motivation to continue.
Oh man, I feel dreadful about myself. But at least we know that it will technically work without a RAM stick installed, so we're good in that term. But yeah, at this point, I might just call it quits here. If I can't get one cap to work, then I'm bloody hopeless at getting the rest working. So, yeah, so at this point, it's, this has been a fail, so, thank you all for watching, and, I really don't know at this point. I can't just sit here wasting away trying to figure something out that I'll probably never figure out, because I've tried every possible thing. I've taken that cap off and put it back on so many times that, yeah, I know, shit happens, but like I said, there's always professionals out there, so if I ever need a hand, I'll just ship the board all over to off to Steve, and he can work his magic and get it working again. It will cost a shit ton of money because it's going from the UK all the way over to America, so yeah. So at least we know it will work fine without extended memory, but we won't have extended memory support for some reason, so it's not totally dead, but it's not fixed, so if I can't get that cap working, then we've got no chance. So at that point, thanks all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream, because I know I didn't. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all in the next one then, if I ever make another one.